Hey, Grayson. How are you?
Hey, what?
I said, hey, how are you?
Good.
Do you have a specific place that you would like for me to start?
I no, not really.
Do you want me to start on today's lesson then? The assi-
Sure.
I'm sorry?
Hold on, please. Hold on. Let me go get some paper real quick.
Okay.
What?
Love you, honey. Drive careful. Uh-oh. I brought my stylus over here and now I can't find it. Oh, here it is.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. Would you like me to start with
We can just start from the beginning.
are you like on today's lesson?
Today's homework, yeah, I think.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. Just pulling it up. And let's see. Hang on just a second. On a separate sheet of paper, I want to write. I believe I said 3 through 9 and then 11 through 25 odd. Okay, so you have your book open, Grace?
What?
I said, do you have your book open also?
Hold on. I can get it in a second.
It will help if
Um,
you're following along because the first 3 through 8 or
oh,
3
it's
through
three
9,
through nine.
yeah, the first 3 through 9, basically you're given the slope and then you're given the y-intercept for each one. And then you're supposed to write an equation for the line with the given slope and y-intercept.
Yeah, I have the book open right now.
Okay. So your slope would be m and your y-intercept would be b. And you're putting it into this equation. So you substitute the 2 in for m and the 9 in for b. So that's the answer to number 3.
Hold on, I'm
You don't have to write the x. I mean, the 1 on this, I just wrote it so that you could see that I'm
because it's
simply,
easier.
substituting. I'm sorry?
Because it's easier with the one there.
Yeah, it's an understood one when there's an X like that, like when in front of a variable, but I
Yeah.
put it there so you could see that I'm following the same steps every single time by substituting the M and the B. For the y-intercept is the B and the slope is the M. And
My sister
basically
just joined the call.
the values. I'm sorry?
My sister just joined the video call.
Oh, okay. Hey, Courtney. I feel like we've got a few others on too. So number 5, the slope is -3. The y-intercept is 0. So slope is -3. B is 0. So that one would look like y equals -3x with nothing else written. Because I could write the +0, but it's not important to write it.
Hold on a second.
Because it doesn't really add anything. And when I see that there's nothing there, sorry about that. I had to let my dog out. When I see that there's nothing there, if I were looking at this equation, I know that it's just going to go through the origin.
You're just plugging stuff in, right? Like numbers.
That's all you're doing for 3 through 9 is plugging stuff in. That's it. And the main reason that I had you guys do so many of them is to understand that y-intercept is the B and the slope is the M. And I just want to drive that point home over and over and over again so that you guys understand that the slope is the M in the equation, the y equals mx plus b. That's slope. The M is slope. The B is the y-intercept. So the slope is the change in y over the change in x, and the y-intercept is where the line will cross the y-axis. So you should be able to recognize those when you see them. But that's all you're doing in 3 through 9 is plugging it in. That's why I said these should really not take you that long at all. Okay? Does anybody need me to do the rest of those, or do you feel confident in being able to finish them?
Miss Sparks, I wasn't here for number 3. Can you do that one again?
And could you do the others, please?
Just plugging it in?
Making it into an equation.
Okay. The slope for number 3 is 2. Y-intercept is 9. So the slope is 2. The y-intercept is 9. The slope is 2. The y-intercept is 9. And there's your answer.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But Mary Faith, you got to see 4 and 5?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So 6. All right. Instead of actually writing the word slope, from now on, I'm just going to write m equals -7. And the y-intercept is b. Okay, guys? Because I want you guys to understand that. So everybody see how that connects with the book. Yes? So the slope is -7. The y-intercept is 1. So that would look like this. You're done. The slope is 2/3. The y-intercept is -9. That's the answer. The slope is 3/4. The y-intercept is -6. This is number 8. So y equals 3/4 x minus 6. Nine is a multiple choice, but it says which equation represents the line with the slope of -1 and a y-intercept of 2. Because you can have the understood 1 there. So it would be -x, because when you multiply -1 times x, you get a -x. So that's the equation that we're looking for in our multiple choices, and that would be letter A. Any questions over those? Is there any confusion over that? So which letter represents slope?
X.
M.
M. Yes. X is just one of the coordinates. And it's y equals mx plus b. So m is the slope. It's just next to the x. But you still have to have x in the equation, and you still have to have y in the equation. Okay? Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So which letter represents slope?
M.
M. Which letter represents y-intercept?
B.
Good job. Okay. And what M, and the good way to remember the M is mountain for slope, because we kind of connect mountains and slopes. And I don't know what to tell you about the B. But that is where the line crosses the x-axis. Okay? So literally 3 through 9 were much like practice A 1 through 3 yesterday and example 1 through 3 on the study guide. So now we've done about 15 problems where all you're really doing is substituting the value of slope in for the M and the value of the y-intercept in for B. That's all you were doing on this. And please understand that every line on the coordinate plane has an equation associated with it. And that's what we're doing right now, is writing equations associated with the lines that you make on the coordinate plane. Every line on the coordinate plane has some sort of way to represent it algebraically. Okay, so that's what we're doing when we're writing all of these equations. And these equations in this particular unit are going to be in this form, and this is called the slope intercept form of a line. Form this equation. All right. So moving to number 11, which also is circled in the book. The number 11 is circled in the book, and whenever it's circled in the book, if you ever need extra help in the additional answers toward the back of your book, it is worked out for you. So going forward, if you know, and that's true in the geometry book and the Algebra 2 book of this particular curriculum that we use. So if you ever need that help. On number 11, it has the rise over run labeled for you in the book. What is rise over run? Can anybody tell me? What's another, what is that? When I say that, what am I referring to? Anybody know? That's slope. And what letter do we use to represent slope?
Is it M?
Yes. So rise over run, slope, M. Change in Y over change in X. So number 11, hopefully it'll pull up. Yay. On number 11, what is the rise?
-1.
-1. Good job. It is -1. All right. What is the run?
2.
2. Good job. So that means M equals -1/2. Where does this line cross the y-axis?
0.
Yes, good job. So the B is 0. So the equation of the line, which that's what the instructions say to do, write an equation of the line shown. So it will be y equals, and then I'm going to use my M, -1/2 x. And I don't have to put anything since that's plus 0. It would be plus 0, but I really don't have to write that. So the answer to number 11 is y equals -1/2 x.
Okay, this is making a lot more sense now because I was confused in class yesterday, but I understand it a little better now.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. So glad to hear that. Okay. What is the rise on number 13? I'm so sorry. Number 13. What is the rise?
Is it -3? Wait, no. I'm looking at the wrong one. Is it a 6? No, it's a 4.
It's a 4.
It's a 4.
Good job. It's a 4. Does everybody see that? Is there any questions about where he got that? I'll be back over there for just a second. We're doing rise over run. Whoop, that's. And now we're going to go back and look at the run.
Which is 6.
The run. It's 6. Good job. Which this can be reduced. 2 will go into both of them. Yep, 2 over 3. Where did he get the 4?
Yeah.
Okay. Look at number 13. Do you see the red arrow pointing up?
Yeah.
You see the 4 next to it?
Oh.
The red 4?
Mhm.
I believe this one is counting by 2, so it's a little deceptive, but that's where he got it.
Okay.
And then you see the red arrow pointing to the right with the
Yeah.
6 above it.
Yeah.
That's where he got his 6. And then we reduced it. Where is this one crossing the y-axis? And don't
Is
forget,
it -8?
it is -8. And a thing that I want to point out here, and I'm going to write this over here, it's crossing at -8. But please notice they labeled the point 0, -8. So the x coordinate of the y-intercept is always, always, always 0. That's what makes it the y-intercept. So when you have a y-intercept, you'll have 0 and a coordinate. So now we have our slope and we have our y-intercept. So we can now write an equation. Y equals 2/3 x, because you have to have your y, you have to have your x.
Or is it plus -8?
No, well, if you wrote plus -8, Grayson, you would still be correct, but all you have to write is -8. Because in algebra, every number has a sign and every sign has a number. So you can just allow the sign of the number to be your operational sign as well.
Okay.
Miss Sparks,
Yes.
is number 10 through 15 the same thing as 18 through 23?
18 through 23. Let me look. I'm sorry. Yes, the difference on 18 through 23, really good question, is this time they're only giving you the points. So you can do it either you can do it rise over run by counting, or you can do it by actually using the slope formula to calculate the slope. So I'll be getting to a couple of those to show you how to do those as well so that you have some examples. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Great questions. Y'all are asking great questions this morning. So proud of you. All right. So we have one more in this section. Does everybody want me to do number 15?
Yes, please.
Okay. Y'all go ahead and be looking at number 15 and tell me what you think the rise is on number 15.
The rise is it -2?
Yes, sir.
Yay.
It is -2. Good job. Okay. What is the run?
1.
Good job. So technically, I don't have to write -2 over 1.
Because it just reduces to -2?
Yes. But this is just important to know, because if you were actually using -2 over 1 as the rise over run in order to graph points, it's very important to remember that the rise is one number and the run is the other. So when you have a whole number as a slope, you need to remember that that bottom number is 1. So you have to incorporate that when you're counting points. All right. Where does number 15 go through the y-axis?
-2.
-2. So I'm going to plug in those values. And that's my answer. All right, let's take a look at number 17 for our error analysis.
I'm still a little confused where you've got
Got what?
-2.
For which, for the y-intercept or for the slope?
For the y-intercept.
Okay, look at the graph. Do you have your book in front of you, honey?
Yes, ma'am.
Look at the graph, and where does the line go through the y-axis?
Oh. Okay.
And don't forget the ordered pair for the y-intercept is always that ordered pair where the x coordinate is 0. And what is the 0? -2. See, the x is 0, so that makes this the y-intercept.
Okay.
When the ordered pair has a 0 in the x, and then whatever the value is for the y in that ordered pair, that's your y-intercept.
Okay.
Okay? All right, let's look at number 17 for the error analysis. So you have 2 points here, 0 and 4, and 5 and 0. So basically we have an x-intercept and a y-intercept. What did they do wrong? Anybody know? Well, if you look at their 2 points, they got 0, 4, and 5.
They're supposed to do 5 minus instead of 0 minus.
Yes. And on the top, they put 0 minus 4, which is fine. But on the bottom, then, they should have done 5 minus 0. And that would be their slope. And then their y-intercept would be 4. So the equation of the line should be this. Did I put, please tell me I put 4. Thank God. I was like, oh, please. So it's -4/5. But they calculated their slope incorrectly. And I believe I think it was Sophia who asked me earlier if 18 through 23 were like those. And this number 17 is a little bit like what you're going to be doing on 18 through 23.
Can you go back to where you wrote the answers?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
For this?
Yeah.
That's the bottom part is number 17.
Yep.
This was 15, I think.
Okay, I got it.
Okay. All right. Now, number 19. What we're going to do, you can do one of 2 things here. You can either count the slope on this one, or you can calculate it using the slope formula. What I'm going to do to make sure that you know how to do both is I'm going to do both for you all in math lab this morning.
Thank you.
I'm going to start erasing. So for number 19 is, do I have a volunteer that's willing to count the rise for me? Does anybody know how to count the rise? You're going to count how far you have to go up or down to get to the next point. So you've got 2 points highlighted in here. So how far? I'm sorry?
Is it 4?
It is 4. Good job. So the rise is 4. What is the run?
-1.
Well, I can see where you would get -1, but it's actually just a 1. But I can understand where that could.
I was going backwards.
Yes, good job. So you caught it. I'm so proud of you. This is 19. You caught it. Yes, that is it. So rise over run. You did great. It's 4 over 1. But if I were to calculate it using the points given, it would look like this, because this is always an option. So my slope, no matter how I look at it, is 4. What's my y-intercept here? And how do I know? Anybody know what the y-intercept is for number 19?
Is it? I don't know.
Would it be 4?
It is 4. Good job. How did you know?
Courtney, that was my second guess.
How did you know, Courtney?
Because it's in the ordered pair with the 0 as the x.
Good job. Great explanation. Good job. Y'all are doing great this morning. Good team effort. Love it. Okay, so now I have my slope and I have my y-intercept, so I can write my equation in slope-intercept form. Okay, so now number 21. What is my rise going to be?
-4.
Good job. -4. Because on this one, we're going to travel one direction negative and one direction positive. Okay. So now what is my run?
3.
Good job. So I have my slope. If you were going to calculate it using the formula, it would look like this.
Why is it -4?
Well, I know that this line, because it falls to the right, is going to have a negative slope. That's one thing I know. The other thing I know is that if I'm either traveling, it could be -3 and a +4. It just depends upon whether you're counting from 0, 0 to -3, 4. If you're counting that way, you would have a negative, you would have a -3 because you would be traveling left and a +4. But if you were counting from -3, 4 down to 0, 0, you would have a -4 and a +3.
Oh, I
Because
see.
if I'm going to have a negative slope, it's going to be one of these two ways.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So here's your slope. All right, so what's the y-intercept on this one?
It would just be 0, but you don't have to put it in there.
Good job. It is just 0, but you don't have to include it because it does not change the value of the equation. So your final equation on this one looks like this for number 21. All right, moving right along to number 23. Let's be thinking about it. What is the rise on number 23?
4.
I put -4.
Did you? And did you have a run of -2?
Yes, ma'am.
The slope on this one is definitely going to be positive. So depending upon, both of you are absolutely correct. It just depends upon which point you move from. So 4 or -4 are correct on this. It just depends upon where you start. Does that make sense to you guys? So if you were starting from point 2, 2 and going down, you would have -4. But you would also be traveling to the left 2. Right? So that would be -2.
This is
But
number
Mary,
23, right?
yes, this is number 23. But Mary Faith, if you were traveling from 0, -2 up to 2, 2, you would be correct in saying that it's a +4 and a +2. But a negative divided by a negative is a positive, and a positive divided by a positive is a positive. So either way you look at it, you're going to get a slope of 2. And if I were using my points to calculate it, it would look like this. So no matter how I look at it and no matter how I count it, I'm going to get a slope of 2. What is my y-intercept for this one? Anybody know what my y-intercept is?
-2.
Good job. -2. Thank you, Annabella. So now I've got my information to plug into my equation, 2x minus 2. So that's my final answer for number 23.
What is it? I can't see it.
Y equals 2x minus 2.
You can make those people at the bottom go away so you can see it. If you click the thing on the left on the bar at the top. The horizontal one. The square, do you see it?
Oh, I see. Oh, thank you, Grayson, for helping her out. I didn't understand quite what you're talking about. I love it when y'all help each other out. All right, the last one that we had for assignment was number 25. And on this one, we don't have a graph, so we have to use our slope formula to calculate slope. So number 25, the points are 2 and 7. Oh, -7, sorry. And 0 and -5. So -5 minus a -7 all over 0 minus 2. So that's -5 minus a -7. So that's going to be +7. So I've got 2 over -2. So that's going to be -1 for my slope. Which one of these 2 points is my y-intercept? Anybody know? Which is it? Is it -7 or -5 as the y-intercept? Which one has the 0 for the x coordinate? Did I lose everybody?
No, I'm here.
So you don't know which one of these two is the y-intercept?
The y-intercept is no clue.
Oh, is Courtney still here?
No,
No.
she left. She said she just needed help with 11 through 15.
Is it 5?
Okay.
Is it 5?
It's -5. Good job, Eli. It's -5. Good job. It's this one. Remember the ordered pair that has x as 0 and y with a value, some value. That's your y-intercept. Okay? So when you're looking at points, looking for the one that has 0 as the x. So your final equation for this one is -x minus 5, because this is the y-intercept.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because it couldn't cross the y-axis unless that was equal to 0. Because it's on the y because it doesn't move left or right. Okay, well that's our classwork. That's so we went over this in class yesterday, and this was all of your classwork, I think, or your assignment for today as far as
No, we actually have 3 more
yesterday.
problems that go with the ed puzzle.
Oh yeah, that go with the ed puzzle. Have you watched the ed puzzle?
Yes, ma'am.
You have?
I
Okay.
did it in study hall, I think.
Okay. Well, I will be covering these in class tomorrow. So I'm not going to be taking that part up, and it's not on the assignment sheet. So I will cover it tomorrow just because I don't want to overly confuse anybody. I want this to rest with y'all today.
So
Although we
do numbers 1 through 3 in class.
Yes, we will go over numbers 1 through 3 in class tomorrow.
Miss
Okay.
Sparks, I have a couple questions on the practice A sheet from yesterday.
Okay. All right. What is it?
On number 13. I just don't know how to solve it.
Okay, what does it say?
It says write an equation for the linear function f with the given values.
Okay, can you read me the problems?
F of x is -4.
Okay,
Equals 0.
say like F, what's in the parentheses there? Because I don't have the practice A. I'm sorry.
-4.
This is -4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's this?
Equals 0.
Okay, what's the other one?
F of 0.
I'm sorry.
0 equals 2.
Okay. Did I write it correctly?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is a point, and this is a point. So you take out that's your X, and this is your Y. This is your X, and this is your Y. And you write them, and then you just calculate slope, and then this right here is your y-intercept because the X is a 0. It's the same exact problem now. 2 minus 0 over 0 minus a -4. So 2 over 4, which equals 1/2. So it's going to be y equals 1/2 x plus 2. All this are coordinates written in function notation. Okay? So you're just pulling the ordered pairs out. Do you see that now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So that's how you do 14. And then number 15 is, I wrote it on the board, and hopefully you wrote it down. I wrote 12 and 15 on the board and worked those completely out because they kind of had some special exercises to them. But I can help you in class tomorrow with those if you didn't write them down. Did you write number 12 and 15 down?
Yes, I did.
Yes, I did.
Okay, good. Number 14 on practice A is done exactly like 13.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay? And I will cover the 4.2 tomorrow in class. I'll go over the guided practice problems, and then we'll do some more exercises.
Miss Sparks, did you do number 29?
29.
I didn't. Was it assigned?
We
No.
were to do 3 through 29, I thought. Oh, I mean 26.
I had 3 through 25.
We're not supposed to do the word problems. Right?
I have on my lesson plan 3 through 9 and 11 through 25. But if you want to do them, I can do them. Are you talking about
26? 26. Yes.
number 26?
Yes.
On the homework, right?
Yeah.
Or on the textbook? Yes. I'm pulling up my book on my other computer so I can have it in front of me. Um, 2, -4, 0, -4. So I would have -4 minus a -4 all over 0 minus 2. So that's going to be -4 plus 4 is going to be 0 over -2. So this is going to be a horizontal line of y equals -4.
Okay.
Okay.
Good
We
question.
should just ignore the 0 over -2 and just do the y.
That tells me my slope is 0. So if I were to plug all of this in, good question, great question. Let's think it all the way out. If I were to plug this into this formula, number one, I know that's my y-intercept, right? So I've got y equals 0 times x plus, and then -4. So I'm just plugging in what I know because my slope turned out to be 0. So I'm plugging in what I know.
But
So
isn't the slope also
anything is 0. And so then that's going to be -4.
because this is 0 over -2.
0 over -2.
Right. So 0 over -2 is equal to 0. If it were this, that's undefined. Right? But this is 0.
Okay.
If I have a pie cut in 2 slices and nobody gets any, then the value is 0. Does that make sense? Remember, a fraction is where we cut pies into pieces, and this represents how much of the pie someone's getting. So they're getting nil, zip. So that means the slope is 0. But so if I take all of the values that I find, right, and I plug those in, great questions, and I plug those in, I've got a 0 in for the M, and I've got the -4 because I know this is the y-intercept. So 0 times x, 0 times anything is 0. So that's why that cancels out. And I only left with this. So that's why I know that it's a horizontal line, because we also know a horizontal line has a slope of 0 because it's 0 fun to ski on a horizontal line.
Makes sense.
Does that make sense? Okay, it does? Okay, good. Good. Great question, though. Great question. Thank you for working so hard, guys.
So we're only supposed to go 3.5?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay.
Miss
Yeah,
Sparks,
sorry for the confusion. Yes, ma'am.
on the practice A on number 10, how would you find the B?
How would I find what?
The B.
What is number 10? Is it a graph?
No, it's actually not a graph. It says the coordinates 0 and 5.
0 and 5.
And 2 and 11.
Okay, which one of the 2 ordered pairs has a 0 in for the x?
The one with the 5.
What are the x? I'm sorry?
The one with the 5.
Yes, so 5 is the y-intercept. Because the ordered pair that has a 0 in for the x is the y-intercept.
Okay. So then you would do 11 minus 5 and 2 minus 0.
As the slope.
Yeah, and get 3.
Okay. So y equals 3x plus 5.
Okay, that's what I did. All right, good.
And 12 and 15 were a little harder than that. And that's why I wrote them down. So hopefully you copied them, because on that particular one, you had to find slope and then you had to plug in one of the 2 ordered pairs. My visor. Where is it? It's upstairs. Where is it? It's on top of my hat thing. Okay. I hate to cut this short, guys, but I have to go take my daughter to the dentist.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And I will see you tomorrow in class, okay?
Okay, bye.
Bye.